Hi all, welcome to my channel Semper Astra. My name is Maggie, and in today's video I would love to share with you a wide variety of gadgets that in my opinion may be very helpful and useful to all guide dog owners. At the beginning of this video I would love to emphasize that I am not a guide dog trainer and I am just a totally blind person who has been working with the help of the guide dog for over the last 20 years and who loves sharing with others her own experiences. For the context of this video, I also want to mention that I live in the UK and that my current guide dog Wilma has been trained by British Guide Dog School. In today's video, I am not going to describe any specialist equipment that is directly linked with the work of the guide dog. And there are two reasons behind this. First of all, I am not qualified to talk about specialist equipment, and this is why I don't want to do it. So I'm not going to talk about leash, I'm not going to talk about harness, I'm not going to talk about the bell that is attached to guide dog's collar when the dog is running freely so the blind person can hear where the dog is. I'm not going to talk about any of these equipments. And the second reason why I'm not going to talk about this specialist equipment is that I strongly believe that every guide dog owner should strictly follow all of the advice that they were given by the guide dog trainer, and that they should be using only the equipment that they were provided with by the guide dog school. So all of the gadgets that I will discuss today are for our own convenience, and we may have them, but we don't have to have them. And for many years, I didn't have these things, and I kind of did cope, and thanks to them, my life is just easier. So the first gadget that I would love to share with you is a treat pouch, and I am sure that most of us is familiar with treat pouches, and I don't want to recommend a particular style or particular company. I just wanted to mention few features that I would recommend checking before we purchase a pouch. So the first feature is a carabiner clip, and thanks to the carabiner clip we can easily secure the pouch, for example on our belt, or I often attach it to the edge of my pocket on my coat. And thanks to this, the pouch is always on the right hand side, far away from my dog. My dog is not distracted by it, and it is easy for me to reach into the pouch, and I am feeling safe that I am not going to lose it that easily because that carabiner clip is quite strong and secure. The second feature that I always check is the main pocket where I actually keep the kibbles. And when I'm choosing the pouch, I always want to ensure that I can easily open this pocket and that I will be able to easily access the kibbles, but also that I will be able to close it easily. So I have the pouch here that when I want to close the pocket, I just make the string tighter and I secure it with the plastic clip. And when I want to open it, I make the opening wider by pulling the plastic clip and kind of making the string more loose. And then the width of the opening is basically wider. The next feature that I always check is the side pocket that is also easily accessible. And in this side pocket, I always keep poo bags. And I always like nice, strong, thicker poo bags, so I feel like kind of safe that they're not going to break. And the last feature of the pouch that I always pay attention to is a zipped pocket. And I liked having at least one zip pocket on my pouch because I can keep in it keys or other valuables which I don't want to lose. And thanks to this pocket, I feel that I can always have my keys on me or other valuables, and that I'm not going just to drop them somewhere, and that I'm not going to lose them that easily. The next item that I wanted to recommend is a small refillable plastic bottle in which I keep hand gel, like a sanitizing gel. And the main advantage of this bottle that I have here is that it also has a clip, a carabiner clip, and I clip this little bottle on my treat pouch. I clip it on the little kind of plastic loop to which the main carabiner clip is attached. And thanks to the fact that it is attached to the treat bag, I can always easily reach for it whenever I want to refresh my hands or whenever I feel that my hands are a bit dirty. And personally, it is very important to me that it is easily accessible and I don't have to put my dirty hand into my pocket or into my handbag to find the hand gel when I want to refresh my hands. So this is very important, that I don't have to, like, you know what I mean, look for the bottle with my dirty hands in my pocket or in my bag. So yes, the fact that it is easily accessible is the main kind of plus for me. We can refill this bottle very easily because it comes with a little tiny funnel. So we just unscrew the top to this bottle, and we can just squeeze the gel through the funnel. I'm just trying to find the little funnel. Oh yes, I found it. So now I just unscrew the top and I place the funnel in the top opening, and this way it is easy not to spill gel, and it is basically easily going into the bottle. And then when we screw the top on, we just flick the lid as in most of the bottles like that. And just to give you an idea how big this bottle is, I would say that it would hold about 20 milliliters or max 30 milliliters, if that makes sense. Okay, so the next group of items that I wanted to recommend, the next item that I will recommend will be a collapsible bowl. And again, I bet that probably everyone is familiar with the concept of collapsible bowl. But I have to admit that for many years, I was buying collapsible bowl that had diameter as big as the bowl that I would use at home for water. So these kind of bigger collapsible bowls in diameter, they were very bulky, they were not very convenient, and I also needed quite a lot of water to fill them up to the level that it was convenient for the dog to drink the water. And only recently somebody advised me, I actually think that it was during my guide dog training, I was advised that it is okay to buy smaller collapsible bowl in diameter. It will be less bulky, and also we need much less water to fill it up, so the water gets deep enough that it is easy for the dog to drink from the bowl. And I also have to say that in the past I tried these traveling bottles with like a longish and very narrowish bowls that are attached to them, but my big dogs never found it comfortable, so I was a little bit like discouraged from buying something smaller. But now I just buy this round but small in diameter bowl. I'm sorry that I'm repeating myself so much, but I just want to describe the item as clearly as I can. And the last feature about this bowl that I want to recommend is the fact that, again, it has a carabiner clip, so I can easily clip it, for example, to my backpack. and it is easy to dry, and it also, yeah, I would just honestly strongly recommend it. And the next item that I would like to recommend is a collapsible water bottle. And I know that in majority of public places we can probably get the water for our dog, but when it is a very hot day, or if I am traveling a very long distance, I just feel more confident when I have water with me for my dog. And this water bottle that I'm holding here is made out of very thick foil, and thanks to that, when this bottle is empty, it is totally flat, and I would say it is very light. And when we put water in it, it expands only as much water we put there, and the more water we use up, then the bottle is getting more and more narrow and smaller and lighter, of course. To fill this water up with water, we just unscrew the top here and we pour water, and then we screw the top on, and when we want to use this bottle, we just pull up the sports cap, so kind of like a part of the cup, and then we just gently squeeze the bottle, and the water kind of drips to the bowl, and then we just push the cup down and it is securely closed. And again, it has a carabiner clip, and the very strong one as well, so we can secure it on the backpack or on the suitcase or on our luggage. So I strongly recommend this one, or any other, because I don't want to recommend any particular like item or any particular brand. I would say any bottle that would have these features, so light and flat when empty and with carabiner clip. Another group of items that I will discuss are various items for feeding the dog, and the first one that I will show is a stuffer ball, I think it is called. And this one is the only item that I will recommend specifically, and I will even try to put a link to Amazon UK to this one, because it is basically very good recommendation, and I haven't found anything like that, so it is worth trying. So this bowl is made by a company called Kong. The color of this bowl is always red, and I think that there are no any other colors. They come in several sizes, and I will try to describe what they look like. So on one side there is kind of wider opening, and directly opposite on the other side there's much smaller opening. So we put the kibbles into the bowl through this wider opening. I mean bowl as B-A-L-L. Sorry for my poor English pronunciation sometimes. So it is bowl like, football, right? And on the sides of this bowl there are also grooves where you can also like squeeze smaller kibbles, or maybe you can spread some, I don't know, spreadable that is specifically made for dogs. I never do it, I just put kibbles in there. And my dog loves it, so I use it often at home as an entertainment, or, just as an entertainment, because my dog just loves it. But I also always take it for a journey with me, or when I am going out for more hours, or when I know that I will have to sit in a meeting and my dog will be bored, and she loves eating from this. And also when I'm traveling, I always fill it up full with kibbles, and I just treat it also as a container to take the food in, right? So I fill it in at home, then I put it into plastic bags so they don't spill all over my luggage, I mean the kibbles. And when it is a time for feeding my dog, I just hand it in, and the dog eats from this, and then I pick it up when it's empty. So this is very clean, neat way of storing food in transit and in feeding your dog in transit as well. So the next feeding tool, let's put it that way, that I would recommend is another bowl, and it is like a miniature snaffle mat, or like a kind of substitute for snaffle mat, because it is much smaller, and I would say maybe more boring. This one is shaped like a bowl. It is made out of plush, and the material is scrunched up in that way that it creates like little pockets all over on edges of this bowl. So you would squeeze the kibbles into these little pockets, so the dog can sniff the kibbles out and take them out and eat them. And I was advised that dogs love this kind of challenge and that it is very entertaining for them. And I use it mainly at home, I would say, but my dog really enjoys this, so I would also recommend it. When I touch it, I think that sometimes from the touch it resembles a little bit of cauliflower, because it has such an uneven kind of surface. Okay, the last feeding tool that I would recommend is a labyrinth bowl. In this situation, I mean the dish. But before you get this one, I would ask for recommendation the trainer that trained your guide dog or the vet, because not all dogs would enjoy it equally, if that makes sense. Some dogs are using this type of dish because it is helpful to them to slow their pace of eating. For my dog, it is not the case. It is just another kind of entertainment. And I will try to explain what this dish looks like. So it is quite, I would say, shallow. So it is not as deep as other dishes, for example, for water. And there are kind of like raised walls, or kind of like raised pieces of plastic, and they are shaped in a way that they create like labyrinth grooves, or I would say like imagine corridors that are deep. So the dog has to kind of like fish out with the tongue the treats. So basically the bottom is not flat. It has like a maze of kind of slightly deeper, kind of indented corridors. So basically there are like, different zigzaggy shapes of them, and the dog is literally fishing out with the tongue the kibbles. And my dog also finds it very entertaining, and she's often eating from this, and it was also recommended to me. Another set of tools that I will share with you, or gadgets, are clearly for entertainment, and I always take them with me whenever I am on a long journey, or when I know that I will be sitting in a meeting for a long time and I want my dog to be relaxed or comfortable, or where I'm going somewhere where I want her to settle down quickly. So the first thing is a chew. This one is shaped like a toothbrush, because one of these rules is also to clean dog's teeth. And it is totally edible. So the dog would eat it, would chew it and eat it. And because of that, before you purchase any of them, it is also important to ask for recommendation the guide dog trainer or the vet who knows the health of your dog well, and also who knows different brands and who can recommend the good brand that is available in your area. Also, it is important to be like cautious with them, because sometimes they can have lots of calories and we may not realize that it has that many calories. So this is kind of like a special treat for my dog, but absolutely she loves it. The next kind of entertainment that I take for her whenever I go on a long journey or for a long meeting, or in a place where I want her to kind of settle down quickly, is a Nylabone. And I have here kind of like smaller version, which is still big enough to be safe for her. The only thing that I will say about Nylabones is that I believe that it is important to replace them regularly, because once the dog starts chewing on them, they have kind of like irregularities on edges, and they sometimes get a little bit kind of like uneven, and the dirt easily lodges there. So for hygiene reasons and for kind of cleanliness reasons, I replace them quite frequently. You know, I would say once in 2 months, or whenever they look a bit rough around the edges, I would say. The next entertainment toy that I would recommend is a little plushy elephant. It is very flat. It doesn't have any stuffing in, so it is the only part of the elephant that has some stuffing in is its head and the trumpet. So literally when you fold it, it is no bigger than the packet of tissues, but it still has a squeak, it still has a crinkling beat, and my dog really enjoys to play with it, and I always keep it in my kind of side pocket of my backpack, or sometimes even in my back pocket of my jeans. And my dogs just really enjoy to play with it when she is a little bit bored, or when I know that she needs to stay kind of still for a while, if that makes sense, and be patient. I will show you another cute plushy toy. This one is more shaped like a bee. I love this one, and my dog also loves this one because it's kind of more like a barrel shape, and she likes kind of to grab something in her mouth, and she loves these crinkly little wings. And I also believe that bees are cute, so we always take that one as well. So another item that I wanted to share with you is an item that is particularly useful during rainy days or snowy days or muddy days. And it is a cloth that is specially produced for cleaning your dog, for wiping your dog when it's wet. And the main qualities of this item is that it is very absorbent, and that it also dries very quickly itself, so it is very easy to keep it clean and in a good condition. And it is kind of like I would say long but kind of narrow piece of material. On one side it has kind of two pockets, which we use as gloves, like imagine kitchen gloves. And when you put your hands into these kind of gloves, these pockets, you can kind of like hug your dog with this material and kind of rub it. And my dog actually loves this because she finds it very like calming and playful. She likes being rubbed that way anyway. And it is really drying even very wet dog very quickly. And this side that it's actually cleaning the dog has a lot of, I will try to explain it, so forgive my kind of trying to explain it, but it has sewn on the material like a lot of kind of quite thick but kind of longish but not too long, like pieces of material. And these pieces of material, I kind of like imagine grass. You know what I mean? I know that it is maybe stupid explanation, but imagine that like a grass field. So imagine that these pieces of material are kind of growing from the earth, right? So they're kind of sticking out a little bit, right? And they are made out of microfiber, and this is what makes this kind of like frenzels, like this fringe, this kind of pieces of material. This is what makes them so absorbent, but they also dry very quickly, if that makes sense. Forgive me if I didn't explain it accurately, but the main point is that this cloth is very absorbent, and it will dry your dog very quickly, but also it will dry itself very quickly. And I'm sure that it can be easily found under like a, I think there's a search for cloth for wiping the dogs or something. If I find it, I will also put the Amazon link to the UK website, but I trust that it will open up in whatever locality you are. The next item that I wanted to share is a special bag for washing items that belong to your dog. And I will explain the purpose of it, okay? So Whenever I wash something that belongs to my dog, for example, the blanket or the cover for the bed, I always start by making sure that I shake out as much hair as I can, and sometimes I vacuum it because I don't want the dog hair to go to my washing machine, if that makes sense, right? But as you probably know, it is impossible to get all of the dog hair out of blankets or of covers for the dog beds. So, to ensure that the dog hair doesn't ruin my washing machine, I place the blanket or whatever I wash in this special bag. And after I place the item, so for example, a blanket in it, I also put washing capsules, like I use these silicone capsules, and I also put them into the bag. Then I zip the bag up so the detergent stay in, the blanket stays in, and I put entire bag into the washing machine once it's totally zipped. And the quality of this material ensures that the water goes in, so the item is still being washed, but it is thick enough and fine enough that the hair doesn't escape. And then after the item is washed, I usually go outside, I open the bag up, I take out the item, I shake again the item, and I shake out the bag to ensure that the whole hair is gone. I shake it, turn it outside, inside out, and I also kind of try to clean it and sometimes wash it on its own from time to time to ensure that it is clean and ready for the next wash. Again, I will try to put a link to this item in the description to this video, so be patient with me. And again, you don't have to get this particular bag. The most important thing is that, to know about the idea, to know that things like that exist, because for years and years I didn't know about them, I have to say, and now I really value them. So the last item that I want to describe is something that I don't have with me, but I will still talk about this. So I want to recommend having two-hand waterproof trousers that you would put over your like daily trousers or more elegant trousers on very rainy, muddy or snowy days. And I am using waterproof trousers that I put over my more elegant trousers to protect my more elegant trousers when I'm walking to work or to university. I used to always do that, especially when I lived in Poland and there was a lot of snow. And you probably know from your own experience that the guide dog always walks very close to us. So unfortunately, it will always splash us with muddy water or with, melting snow. And when we don't have any protective trousers on, our trousers will be very dirty when we get to our destination. But we wear something over our jeans or over our more elegant trousers, then we can take this overall, this waterproof trousers, we can put them away. I usually put them in a swim bag because I don't want to put them just in a plastic foil bag because I don't want them to kind of stink afterwards. I put them in a swim bag, so they're kind of still having some air circulation there, and they basically still kind of don't get stinky so quickly. I put them in my side pocket of my backpack, and when I'm ready to go home, I put them on again on my more elegant trousers. I walk home and then I take them off again, and that protects my trousers, my looks, and it makes me feel more confident, more kind of ready for the day. And also it saves me a lot of washing because that means that I don't have to wash my regular trousers after each outing. I Apologize for my clumsy explanations. I was trying to do my best to describe the items that I wanted to recommend today. I hope that some of these recommendations you will find useful, and I wish you a lot of joy in your daily life with your guide dog. Stay safe, and I invite you to watching my future videos. Bye bye.